I put a bucket on the front of my garden tractor, and it's possibly the coolest attachment ever. But here's the thing. John Deere never actually made a front loader for this lawnmower. John Deere doesn't make front loader bucket attachments for any of their garden tractor models. But where John Deere said no, a third-party company called LGM said hell yes. This is the LGM 100, and it's the aftermarket solution for adding front loader bucket functionality to the lawnmower you already own. It's made out of thick carbon steel and has a 3 cubic foot bucket and can lift 350 pounds 44 inches into the air from a lawnmower. That's kind of nuts. I'm going to go over the easy and straightforward plug and play install, show you how it works and what it can do, plus some of the limitations. And of course, I'm going to give you a list of pros and cons, then tell you who should get one and if it's worth it. And we're starting right now. You're probably wondering how this thing mounts to the lawnmower and what the hardware setup looks like. So let's start there. Installing the uprights to the frame is the first step, and some of the holes you'll use are pre-existing and some you have to drill out. If you've never drilled through metal before, it's easier than you think. I recommend a pilot hole to start and then stepping up in size slowly. Lubricant is always a good choice, and you can use motor oil, trans fluid, or WD-40. I like to drill slowly with solid pressure, and a little bit of heat is just fine. Of course, extra style points for smoke signals as usual. Next, I connected the upper lift arm assembly, and that just pivots on pins, moving the bucket into place, and things are starting to take shape pretty quickly. The bucket gets pins too, and all the metal parts are now installed, so it's time to add a little bit of power. These are heavy-duty industrial actuators by Glide Force, and there's 3 of them that work together to power all of the functions of the loader. I know what you're thinking. Electric actuators, dude, that's gonna be slow as hell. But you'd be wrong, because these aren't your dad's electric actuator. LGM knew they had to move fast, and this industrial component provides not only speed, but pretty robust strength too. I know you don't believe me, so here, I'll jump ahead a minute and just give you a sneak peek of the speed going up and down. Faster than you thought, isn't it? These actuators get installed on either side of the lift arms, and they get held in place with pins just like everything else. Super quick and easy. The third actuator goes in the middle here, and it controls the tilt of the bucket. I'm onto the energizing stage of the install, and I couldn't believe the organization and quality of the wiring kit. I've dabbled with a lot of aftermarket wiring, and it's usually fairly cheap and chintzy, but not this stuff. I own a body shop and can confidently say everything in this kit is automotive grade, and all the plugs and connectors could be found in OEM applications right off a Silverado or F-150 or something. Wiring can be scary, but they made everything super easy, and it's all plug and play, meaning there's no soldering, splicing, or anything like that. There's even detailed step-by-step instructions and an installation video for kids that can't read good. If you're new to loaders like I was, I'll run through the functions and controls real quick, and it's pretty simple. Everything is controlled through the joystick, and the joystick is an upgrade that I'd highly recommend because it's absolutely awesome. It just makes everything really easy to do, and it mounts right in the cup holder location of your tractor. Forward and back makes the loader move up and down, while side to side articulates the bucket. And yes, you can move up and down while tilting the bucket. Super smooth and very efficient. So what is this front loader bucket good for? Well, I use mine for everything, and it's freaking awesome. I was doing some leveling work in my yard and ordered a bunch of topsoil, and not having to use a shovel and gorilla cart was a huge time saver. I could just scoop from the pile and bring it right out where I needed it, dump it, and then spread out the pile into the low spots. Amazing. I also use the bucket to fill the hopper on a top dresser, and this is where lifting height comes into play. I could technically use the 44-inch height to get the bucket over the lip of the hopper, but it was a close fit and dumping was tricky, so I grabbed some car ramps that I had from my past life as a bit of a car guy. Then I could just drive up the ramps and have plenty of clearance for dumping. The 44-inch height means that you can probably lift things into a pickup truck with the tailgate down from the back, but you're probably not going to be able to lift things and dump into the bed of a truck like from the side. I had a stump hole to fill in, but it was on the complete other side of my property, so pretty far away. Not a problem with the LGM. Again, scoop from the pile, drive the load right where I need it, and dump it. Then use the bucket to back drag it flat. That would have sucked with a wheelbarrow or garden cart, and I know because that's how I used to move dirt around my yard before I had this. The weight capacity of the loader is over 300 pounds and felt accurate, so definitely in the light duty category for front loaders, but also adequate for tons of jobs around my house. I mean, you can see me using the bucket to lift the front wheels of the tractor off the ground. It's definitely got some power to it. A full bucket of dirt was getting into the top end territory, but it was able to lift it through the full range of motion. It was stronger than I thought it would be. Adding some ballast off the back of the mower would be a smart idea because having that much weight out front really lightens up the back end. You can hang suitcase weights off the back or carry the load lower to the ground. Just you have to be careful and you'll be fine. It's one of those tools that once you have it, you end up using it all the time because it just makes things easy. I had some old rotted out birdhouses that I was getting rid of, and I figured, why not pop them out with the LGM? I was able to easily knock over the metal pole and get it out of the ground. No back and forth wiggling or digging required. The wood one was a bit trickier and put up more of a fight, but I made quick work of that one too, and then I smashed it with the bucket to establish dominance. Next, I had this metal stake in the ground. No idea why, because it's a new house for us and I just found it before my mower did, thankfully. So I wanted to get that out of there. It was in the ground good and I could not pull it out by hand. I was going to use the 4-jack method, but it's pretty far away from the house, so once again, I grabbed the LGM to see what could be done. There wasn't much to grab onto here, so I used some vice grips to give the lip of the bucket something to push against. Sure enough, out it came, and then I smashed it with the bucket to establish dominance. You can see it was pounded nearly 3 feet into the ground, and the LGM pulled it out with ease. One of my biggest wins, though, was pulling out a bucket from the ground. Yes, there was a 5-gallon Home Depot bucket buried in the ground. Like I said, new house, I don't know. My guess was that it was there to help pop in seasonal plants for the summer and then easily swap them out, but either way, I needed it gone. Again, there's nowhere to grab, just like the metal stake, and the bucket was partially filled with dirt at this point, so it's buried and it's heavy with no handle. Using vice grips and a chain, I just clamped to the rim of the bucket to make my own handle, then I looped the chain over the LGM so I could lift straight up. The first attempt ripped the lip right off the bucket. Not great. I re-secured the chain and gave it another go. Slower this time, and after struggling for a little bit, the bucket came right out. Oh, and guess how I filled in the hole after I pulled out the bucket? LGM to the rescue yet again. Digging this thing out by hand would have sucked. And bringing dirt over in my garden cart to fill it in, I mean, it would have at least been an hour of hard manual labor. With the LGM, it was an easy 15 minutes. For leaf cleanup in the fall, I use a sweep all lawn sweeper and I pile my leaves by the edge of the woods. That's kind of my drop zone for the sweeper. Usually I spend a good bit of time going back and blowing the leaves into the woods from there, but I figured why not just use the bucket to push the piles into the woods, and that's exactly what I did. It worked way better than blowing huge piles of leaves, and I was able to really push those piles in deep and away from the edge of the yard. You've seen how I've been using my LGM front loader bucket this summer, and I've gotten to know the tool pretty well over several hours of operation. It's everyone's favorite part of the video where I go over the pros and the cons. What's awesome, what sucks, let's go. Okay, the biggest knock against this product is the lifting capacity, so let's unpack that a little bit. A lot of people are going to look at this and see the electric actuators versus hydraulic, the front-mounted lift arms and pivot points versus a mid-mount design, and the fact that it's mounted to a freaking lawnmower, and they're going to write this loader off as worthless. All those criticisms are true. Generally speaking, it's a light-duty loader bucket. Nobody is arguing that. But being able to lift and move 350 pounds is a game changer for yard work. Dirt, mulch, gravel, and sand can all be scooped, lifted, moved, and dumped with this thing, and that's right in the wheelhouse of a lot of homeowners. Think about the truck market for a second. You've got your Rangers, your Colorados, your Tacomas as your light-duty options, your Ram, your F-150s, your Silverados as your half-ton workhorses, and then you've got the 1-ton heavy-duty guys like the F-350 at the top end. Lighter-duty trucks serve their purpose well, even though they aren't as capable as the heavy-duty 1-ton trucks. You won't be lifting thousands of pounds with this loader, but the practicality and versatility of what it can do makes it a really great option for a lot of people. It might not be the strongest loader on the market, but it sure as hell beats a shovel and a wheelbarrow. I can personally guarantee you that. Of course, capability leads right into the topic of price, and to get a factory John Deere front-end loader, you have to go all the way up to the 1 Series tractor. The 1023E is the cheapest entry point into John Deere's utility tractors, and to get one with a mowing deck and the loader, you're going to be close to $20,000. And that's a lot of money. Assuming you already have a John Deere X300 or X500 series tractor that you use to mow your lawn, $2,500 bucks gets you everything you need to start scooping and dumping with an LGM. $2,500 for the LGM or $20,000 for the factory John Deere loader. That's a pretty big price gap, and I don't think too many people are going to be cross-shopping these two options. Compatibility is a concern, and one really popular question is, will it fit my tractor? So right now, LGM only makes loaders for the John Deere X300 series and X500 series garden tractors, but they do have plans to expand to other platforms in the future. They started with the two most popular series of garden tractors on the planet, and they're gonna expand their product offerings from there. So for pros, I've really enjoyed the capability of this loader for all my light duty bucket work around the house. It's been a total game changer, and I have a ton of attachments for my lawnmower like sweepers, a spreader, a sprayer, an aerator. This loader quickly became a favorite, and even though it's easy to take off by removing a few pins and quick connect electrical plugs, I usually keep it installed just because I use it so much and I always want it ready to go. Was there anything I didn't like? I mean, every product has flaws, right? I was so impressed with the loader that I kept trying to do bigger tasks with it, and as a guy that reviews products for people like you, I always try to explore the upper limits of what tools can do. It was easy to find the upper limit of the lifting capacity. It is a lawnmower after all. So from time to time, I had wished it was just a little bit stronger and there was more robust bracing for the uprights so that they didn't move as much under load. But modding a garden tractor with a front end bucket comes with limitations of the machine itself. The frame is only so thick, the front end can only take so much weight. I think LGM did a great job of building something that maximizes the capability of the machine without venturing into unsafe territory. And like I said, for a lot of homeowners, this thing's going to be an absolute game changer like it was for me. But I want to hear what you think. Let me know in the comments if you think this loader is cool and if you'd consider getting one. And if you want to see more garden tractor attachment review videos, subscribe to the channel first and then click into one of these videos right here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.